Good evening, all. Welcome to SuperMex Nation. Got a very special SuperMex Nation for you tonight. We haven't been on in this format in a little bit, but we are going forward and having a lot more to do with this type of show, a 30-minute, 1-hour job, where we get to talk to people, interview them, find out good information to bring to you as a public and as a listening audience. And so we got a special guest for you tonight. She's coming across the country. You like that, right? You love the beauties of technology. So she is in North Carolina. She is running for judge. And just to be clear, full disclosure, no caveats up front. I'm not big on doing a whole lot of political interviews and plug-in politicians or whatever. If I do, I usually put them on the spot and I ask them hard questions because I want to know what the hell they're going to do instead of telling me about how great they are and all the cool things they're going to do. I want to know, nuts and bolts, like what do you plan on doing? Are you going to keep to your word, etc. So I don't normally do this, but there is relevance if I am bringing it up. And here's the relevance. This young lady is running for judge, and she's the first Lao female to ever run for a judgeship in North Carolina. So that's significant, and we'll flesh that out a little bit once we begin here in a second. But it's unique, it's different, and I do enjoy bringing you things that are not the norm or not quite the same as what everybody else is doing, and definitely something that I would say is groundbreaking, if not even historic at the very least. And so I'm really looking forward to this interview because I'd like to, what I always do. I ask tough questions. I ask meaningful, insightful questions of people that want the public trust. They want us to believe in their capacity to run something significant or do something significant for the public trust. So no wishy-washy easy stuff here. We'll get to some significant questions, but we definitely want to flesh out the fact that, again, she is the first Lao female to ever run for a judgeship in the state of North Carolina. And I think that's pretty damn cool. So you're getting it here first on SuperMex Nation. Her name is Sunny. We're going to let her introduce herself as we bring her on right now. How you doing, Sunny?
I'm doing great, Richard, and hola, ¿cómo estás to you and your viewers? It's a pleasure to be here this evening.
Yeah, that's dirty right there. I like that. Good pander to our Hispanic audience from all over the country, right? Because, again, you're in North Carolina, I'm over here in California, but we have quite a cross mix of Hispanics, Latinos, and all the others that are not specifically just Mexicans. So I'm gonna guess that in North Carolina it isn't Mexicans so much, but you also have other cultures, ethnicities, Puerto Rican, Cubano, and a whole bunch of others that also speak Spanish. So what I want to do is I want to let you introduce yourself and tell my audience what it is you're running for, and give me some specifics or particulars on, for instance, which judgeship is it, how many there are in the state of North Carolina, etc.
My name is SUNNY RUBECK. It's actually SUNNY PANYANOUVONG-RUBECK, and I'm running for district court judge in Mecklenburg County. There are 21 district court seats, and 2 of those seats in district court are up for contested races.
Okay. So there's your homework. I want to make sure you know you know exactly how many judgeships there are, and I'm sure that at this level you decide to run for something and you're going to know who all the other players are. So let's flesh out a little bit of what I had spoken to just right here prior in our intro. So as far as I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, because SuperMex is entirely okay with being wrong and ready to be corrected. So you are the first Laotian female, if not Laotian in general, to run for a judgeship in that county?
That is correct. I am.
Is that also the state of North Carolina?
That is. And I'm not familiar of another Laotian male or female who has run for judge in all of the United States.
Wow. The Laotian brothers need to step up, huh?
I hope so.
I'm waiting for them to do so. If you're breaking ground, if you're doing that now, then most likely we'll get to that point and you'll have the young brothers stepping up and running for judgeships too. But the ladies are stepping out first.
Absolutely.
I like it. I like it. Hey, I'm all for, and I'll just put it on record, I'm all for women kicking ass if the guys ain't going to do the job.
Well, I think the men will start doing the job. We're going to give them an opportunity as well. But I'm glad that I'm doing it right now. I'm ready for this.
Okay, so those are the particulars. That's the seat you're running for. State of North Carolina, great state of North Carolina. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, one of our mutual friends told me that you originally from California, originally from the Modesto area?
I grew up in Modesto, and I wouldn't say originally from. When my parents immigrated here in the early 1980s, we ended up in Olympia, Washington, moved to California.
Oh.
I grew up in Modesto, which, as you know, is a true valley of California.
Right.
Went to Thomas Downey High School.
Okay. All right. So originally Washington. I did not know that.
Yes.
So state of Washington, California. And what led you to North Carolina?
It was the only other state that I had family when I was looking for a change.
Okay. Is this before or after your law degree, practice, etc.?
No, I went to law school at North Carolina Central University in Durham.
Oh, okay.
And I did my undergrad over at UCLA.
Oh, okay. And then so you chose to come back to, is this where you're at now? Is it close to where you were in college, Durham?
It's about a 2.5-hour drive. Close enough, yes.
Okay, so
Not too far.
You're familiar with the area, right?
Absolutely. I can tell you, UCLA was much further from Modesto there than where Durham is.
Yeah, California's a big critter, last I checked. Okay, so
yes, California are 2 states.
Let's do the obligatory and ugly. You're gonna like this, right? What I call the obligatory and ugly when it comes to candidates or people running for seats is, why are you running for this office? Now, before you answer, I'm making light of it entirely, right? Because the reality is, you do have to be able to answer that question. I understand that all too well, and probably too well. Let's put that on the back burner. I understand that question because it's necessary for somebody to be able to articulate a clear, distinct vision of what they want to accomplish in asking the public for their trust and a vote. I get that part. But I want to get down into, the meat and potatoes of why, you're gonna put yourself through the ringer of running for something that, in essence, if you win the seat, is pretty much, a lifetime gig, right?
It is not. It's only for 4 years.
Oh, and then you run
again. Although I live in North Carolina, I am running for district court judge specifically for Mecklenburg County in Charlotte, North Carolina. And you have to run every 4 years for district court judge.
Okay, so you would be up for re-election in 4?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. I did not know that, but that's good. Okay, so to put yourself in that position to run, and those things cost a lot of money. Judgeships, they'll run you a pretty penny to win a seat. So at core, let's get some of your particulars out to answer the larger question of why you're running. But I'm going to guess you're an attorney.
I am. I've been a public defender for over 10 years.
Okay. 10 years of public defense. Nothing on the other side?
Yes. Nothing on the other side. I have been supervising the felony drug unit. Currently, that's what I do over at the public defender's office.
So you didn't take the enticement of maybe going the other route and making a little bit more money?
You mean the private firm route?
Yeah.
No. I went with providing justice for everyone, especially the poor.
There you go. And so just again, full disclosure up front, my heart goes out to people that put in the dirty work for public. I'm a lifetime public servant. I've never taken the other road. I've always given at the base, since I got out, 18 years old, United States Army, and I've been serving country and community every day since. So I'm with you entirely there. And I don't think people really grasp the importance of someone willing to give their entire life to taking care of the people that do not have. And I'm going to guess that's what you're attempting to do.
That is. It seems to be something that's in our blood in terms of my family. My sister's been an educator for over 16 years. My brother served as a Marine. I went to law school and am currently a public defender. That's all I've been doing.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you mentioned that, and I think we have something in common there then. Your brother was in the Marine Corps?
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay. So I think I mentioned to you when we first talked initially, I'm an old vet, U.S. Army, first ID. My family is going on 5 generations of ID, infantry division, and it is a labor of love in this era that we live. You have to listen to people tell you, "Oh, I love you for your service," and then like kindly get the hell out of my way. That's what it feels like nowadays. But you have a very large, and extremely per capita large population of vets in North Carolina.
We do.
Yes, you
We
do. You have Fort Bragg, a few other installations, and then again, a very, very large percentage of that population is either current active duty service or they're veterans right now, if I'm not mistaken.
You are correct. And in fact, we have one of the best VA hospitals to treat our veterans here locally in Charlotte. We have 2, actually.
Have you, let me ask you this, have you tried to, since your brother, for me it's logical. Your brother is a Marine Corps vet. Have you, are you putting something together? Do you have something of a campaign to reach out? Because I'm going to guess in that particular judgeship, you're going to have more, more than a few constituents that are veterans. Are you making inroads into those communities?
Absolutely. I'm trying to reach all of Mecklenburg County, including our veterans, those who have served, those who are currently serving. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's very important.
Yeah.
And in fact, as a public defender, that's what I've been doing already. There's certain programs for veterans that we try to utilize whenever possible.
Right. And I'll just say it, I'm not your consultant or advisor, but I'm going to tell you as a former, as a vet and former infantry, definitely reach out to those guys and talk to them straight, clear. Again, articulate a clear vision of how you want to help, what you're going to do, and always look them right in the eye when you're telling them those things, because that matters. It really does to guys like me. Yeah, so but definitely reach out to them and get knee deep into your veteran community. So let me get back a little bit on background. So you had mentioned that you came from Washington. Family was initially immigrant parents or grandparents?
My parents.
Your parents
My
were?
parents.
So
yes.
Did they come from Laos?
They did, in the early 20s. Very early 20s with children.
Seeking a better life, anything in particular, or?
Well, my uncle was a soldier. He fought on the American side, and we were able to come to the U.S. through his part of the visa, but specifically we came as refugees of the Secret War.
Okay. So, so you have that background. You got to see what it was like to be able to pursue the American dream. From Go ahead.
I was a toddler, but in the sense that I felt that absolutely, as you may know or may know individuals, it's very difficult to be first generation in the U.S.
Absolutely.
And the struggles that has.
Right.
My parents spoke very little English. I did a lot of interpretations for my parents, assisted with paying the bills at a very young age. I got my first job at 14 to help out the family.
Right.
It's a different struggle, but I'm grateful for it.
So your parents, they literally jumped into the deep end of the pool, assimilated, acclimated to an entirely different way of life than what they were accustomed to, in the prior country. And I think you said a sister and a brother and yourself, three kids?
3 children.
Yeah, and so all of you guys are doing well and successful in a variety of ways. Educator, serviceman, and judge? And
yes, that's what we're working on. Just as you said, yes.
Exactly. So, I do like that part, and I like bringing those things out, like when we do a show, to let our audience and our people know, and anybody out there that's watching, that will watch this particular video, that I like people who work and put in the time and aren't handed things and aren't just expected to be good because, I knew so-and-so, or my daddy was this, my mommy was that, or I have resources and wealth. I like people that come up the American way, pull themselves up by their bootstraps, work their ass off, do it the right way, do everything in their power to get to a point where they are legitimately qualified and capable based on their experience and their hard work. And it sounds like that's basically what your parents instilled in you and your siblings.
That is absolutely correct. What I can tell you, Richard, is before going to law school, you have to understand that, individuals who are from Laos, we didn't have the mentors. I didn't know what the LSAT was. At the age of 19, when I decided I want to go to law school, I printed out 100 resumes in Modesto, California. I went door to door knocking to see if somebody would give me a job. I started out as a receptionist before I became a paralegal, before I became a law clerk, before I went to law school, finished with my education, and then became a public defender. But in terms of starting from the bottom, there's no more in terms of bottom than that, and starting out as the person.
Well, I'm saying that's exactly what I want to hear. As regular Joe, Jane America across the country, whether I'm here in California or in North Carolina, you did the work. You put in the time. You walked door to door. You were a secretary, law clerk, put yourself through school. You've done everything, in my opinion, the way it should be done in this country. And if everybody in this country did do that, this country would be far stronger, in my opinion. I'm just articulating my vision here of what I think it should be. But I think that's something that definitely needs to be fleshed out for sure on your end, with your people. And you need to let, those voters in North Carolina know, like, here, this is my road to get to what I want to do. And here's the evidence that I'm going to be working for you every single day that I take a breath in this job, this capacity, this judgeship, because all you have to do is look at my history, look at my background, and it'll tell you exactly who I am and who I'm going to be if I have the honor of winning the seat. You follow?
I follow you. And I think you would also agree that through that life experience, it allows you to understand how difficult it is to
Correct.
be a receptionist, to value your secretaries,
Correct.
to give respect to clerks, to the deputies, because you've been there. You understand that their job is just as hard as defending a particular individual in court, and it's just as valuable.
Right. I really do believe that, people like yourself and others, but people like yourself need to win elections, in the country we're living in today, because it is about experience. It is about living what 99% of the population is living, and not just a 1% of a population, but what the majority of people deal with on a daily basis. You have to work as a secretary. You have to work as a law clerk. You have to go to law school. You have to intern. You have to do all those things to get to this position here. And in that trial and travail, you pick up the experience, the knowledge, the even-handedness, and in this case, judgeship, the fairness and the equity necessary in rendering proper decisions. I would say that's good.
It is. And the ability to be humble in terms of where you were and what you've achieved. Yes.
That's a scary concept, right? What is humble? What is humility? Yeah. I don't think that that's lost on us, but I can tell that, in your particular case, because you've lived that life, you have that necessary undergirding strain of humility, being humble in doling out decisions that are going to affect lives for a lot of people over a long period of time. If you're fortunate enough to be a judge, you're going to be in that seat at least 4 years. That means you're going to affect thousands of lives with your decisions every day.
Yes, and I don't take that responsibility lightly. And I understand what I have to do in order to make sure that everybody gets equal justice.
Let me follow up on that a little bit, because I want to, get toward the back end of where we're at, you and I, with, I'll give you some heady words. You're an attorney, and you're going to be a judge, so I shouldn't be too dismissive of the language that I use with you. But can you talk to me a little bit, or give me your take on what you feel is the gravity of the position that you're asking for? Because in essence, that's what you're doing. You're asking for somebody to give you a vote so you can render judgment on common men and women. What do you feel the gravity of the position is as a judge?
grave, and it should be for all the reasons that you articulated. It is a very difficult job. It is one that takes an individual who knows the law, who is experienced, and who's compassionate. You know, like you said, we in district court, you address cases that happen to be criminal nature. That means an individual can go to jail for a period of time that is significant to impact the rest of that individual's life, their family, their children. You listen to family law cases in terms of custody issues. You have some civil cases that you hear. Mm-hmm. And in fact, district court, in terms of caseloads, here's the most significant amount of cases in Mecklenburg County, and I'm sure elsewhere as well.
Right. And in this particular, and educate me a little bit here and the audience, this is something you're going to wake up every day on a daily basis, go to work, put those robes on, and render decision. Is it a daily thing? It
is. For district court judge, it is. Monday through Friday.
And so that's a lot of work. I mean, intellectually, it's going to be a lot of work because you have to stay on top of the law.
Absolutely. And I think being a public defender and going to court every single day now, pretty much, has prepared me.
Let me do this. I don't do this very often, but I'll give you a softball. You know the term. Do you welcome that difficulty? Your response is absolutely. Absolutely.
It is.
It's going to be a lot of work.
But Richard, it's my whole story. You know, nothing was given. Being a refugee, earning what we have, achieving the American dream, working on our goals. I think the fact that it's hard makes it worthwhile.
I'll give you one more little softball. I'll give you one more softball. It's real easy. So let's do the obvious and simple. You, again, aside from the ethnic aspect of it, you know, you're Laotian, and the other obvious, you're a lady, female. Do you also look at this as an opportunity to exhibit to not just, you know, Laotian homies and homegirls, but just young ladies in general, the opportunity to be a role model, you know, for females to be filling judgeships?
I look at it as an opportunity to be a role model for my entire community.
There you go.
You know, the one thing that I did not speak about is the fact that in Mecklenburg County, what is different, and it changed only a few years back, is judicial races are now partisan. When they used to be nonpartisan elected positions, now when you go to the ballot, when you vote for a judge, they're going to have either a Democratic or a Republican behind their name, a D or an R. What I can tell you is in Mecklenburg County, out of the 21 district court seats that I told you about, only 5 are currently being held by Republicans, less than 25%. I am running for district court judge in part because I think it's very important to have a balanced court. So it's not just that I'm a woman or that I'm a minority. Mm-hmm. It's I want to be represented in every aspect, including making sure that our courts are balanced.
Philosophically.
Yes.
Good.
Absolutely.
Good answer.
Mm-hmm.
Good answer. That was a softball.
Races, you know, that was a softball.
That was a softball. I thought it was. I'm trying. Let me do this. I won't ask you. I'll tell you. Why don't you do this? To a moment of levity in our wrap up here before I let you go. What are you listening to right now? What music are you listening to? What's in your playlist?
You mean because of COVID-19 and we have plenty of time to listen to music? What am I listening to?
Absolutely.
I am a lot of loud music so I can brush up on learning the language better. So a lot of the music I'm listening to, I don't think you'll be familiar with, but I am a part of everyone else in America in the sense that what I'm watching and what I got finished watching was Tiger King.
You know what? Everybody and their mother's telling me to watch that. That's the only thing on Netflix that I haven't seen lately. That's it. That's like the last thing I've got left. But let's face it. I mean, confined quarters, right? We're all like sheltered in place. There's plenty of time to smell the roses. But it's listening to music, watching SuperMex on SuperMex Nation, and then Tiger King and a whole bunch of Netflix material. But no, that's a good answer. But I would say, you know, on your end, if it matters at all, definitely keep hounding and plugging, articulating your vision to vets, to people who like hard work. And by the way, hard work is bipartisan in my world. I don't care if you're a damn Democrat, Republican. I don't care if you're blue, brown, green, orange. Hard work is hard work. I think you really need to expose and put out there your road to get to where you are. Because your road, your experience, your life to get to this point in running for a judgeship, that's worth its weight in political gold, in my opinion. If you can put that out and have your people get that out to your constituents. Once they see that you've put in the time, the energy, the work, and you have the experience necessary, I think you're going to get a lot of people on board with you, Sonny.
Absolutely, Richard. And I know that you've been on this road before. So my question for you would be the advice that you would give. Absolutely, I'm asking you a question.
I'm not on the stand. Hey, you can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth. All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, what advice would you give someone who's doing this for the first time?
Say that again.
What advice would you give a candidate who's doing this for the very first time? What was the biggest lesson that you learned?
That's a softball, lady. That is a softball. Because everybody that knows anything about me, anything around me, it'll always be the same answer. Absolutely the same. Stay clean. Don't do dirty. It's that simple. Because when all this is over and all the people around you that help or hurt in whatever capacity, when that's all over and done, whether you win or lose a seat, when it's over, it's your name. It's your name. So that's my advice. Keep it clean. Don't get sucked into dirty. No matter what the other person does or does not do to you, just keep your road. Stay on your road. That's it.
Thank you so much for that, Richard. That's absolutely the truth. I think that goes beyond elections. That's a great life lesson in general.
Precisely. Okay, Sonny, thank you very much. I wish you all the best. Maybe we'll talk again before this thing. When is the election, by the way?
On November 3rd.
So you're November.
Just remember, vote for the president. Always go down ballot, and don't forget about your judges.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, young lady. Nothing but love for you. Thank you for being with us in SuperMex Nation. That's it for us tonight. I will be back tomorrow, if not recording. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll talk a little bit more, but I want you to check this video out and give this lady a little bit of love, put some time and energy. Her name is SUNNY RUBECK. She is the first Laotian female to ever run for a judgeship in North Carolina and maybe the whole damn country. That is SuperMex Nation kind of badass. So nothing but love for her, nothing but love for you. SuperMex Nation will be back tomorrow. I'm out of here.
Thank you, Richard. Appreciate you.